What is going on, everybody? It's the Franz, and we're here for AEW on TBS Review for June the 1st, 2022. We are 5 months into the year. We are a few weeks away from the Forbidden Door. Getting our first match. Potentially, I don't know if it's been announced completely yet, but our first match that looks to be at Forbidden Door. I was hoping to get at least another match or two, but we still got a few weeks. We'll have maybe something on Rampage. Rampage, of course, is on Friday. Live. We have David Finlay, who will be here next week against Hangman Adam Page. But tonight we had CM Punk and FTR versus Max Caster and the Gun Club. We also had John Moxley versus Daniel Garcia in the main event. A 10-man tag team match that went from a 10-man to an 8-man back to a 10-man as Jeff Hardy and Adam Cole were both injured. Were injured and were not cleared to compete, so they replaced both of them with Hikuleo for Adam Cole and Darby Allin for Jeff Hardy. So that was that tonight. We also heard from the biggest scumbag in the world, MJF, after his controversial weekend, which was the best shoot work promo I have ever heard. This was the Pipebomb on acid. That's how good this promo was tonight. If AEW put it up on the YouTube channel, number one, I would have been playing it for you guys tonight. Also, we had Johnny Elite make his return to AEW, where he took on anybody. He signed an open contract to face anybody in All Elite Wrestling. So, who was that man? We'll talk about it here in a bit as well. And we hear from the Jericho Appreciation Society. Plus, we also have Wardlow first match officially under the AEW banner and not being contractually obligated to MJF anymore. And in the women's division, we have Ruby Soho and Toni Storm beat Jamie Hayter and the Faker. I'm just going to say that right now. Give the woman the Owen, and she takes a pinfall loss the very next week, the very next Wednesday. Making that Owen Cup, the Owen Hart Foundation for the women, like I said, absolutely useless. Anyway, we'll talk about everything else as well. We started off with FTR and CM Punk versus Max Caster and the Gun Club. We are less than 5 hours, or less than 20 hours, since Amber Heard was deemed to have defamed her ex-husband Johnny Depp in a court of law. And Max Caster was quick to take a shot at the liar, the farcist known as Amber Heard, with the line, they're gonna make him pay like Amber Heard, which I thought, and that stating that FTO needs to ride on CM Punk's coattails to get on the show. And yeah, a lot of good stuff there. Max Caster is just a gem. And I'm sure he obviously, like, after the one incident on Dark that they had to cut out, Tony Khan approves all of his raps. So there's no way he was going to come on TV and hit that Amber Heard line if it wasn't approved by Tony Khan himself. So anybody thinking, oh, well, he's out there just doing whatever he wants. No. Tony Khan approves all of Max Caster's raps, and he has for at least almost a year, it feels like. But FTR, CM Punk, the sons of the Hitman, as CM Punk Shirt said while he was out there in the the scrum on Sunday. So that let's see here. Dax starts with the match with Austin. He drops Dax, but Harwood responds with a chop and tags in his partner. They work together quickly, bring Austin down, but Colton's gun then comes in, only to eat a big back body drop, and then some hip tosses. Caster is able to tag in, but this leads to CM Punk also getting involved after Wheeler takes control of the arm, and the world champion drops down from the top rope. Caster switches things up with the corner yet. He then eats an elbow and then a crossbody. Wheeler comes back and nails a power slam for the top rope as Dax then gets back in near fall. Austin quickly tags him, but Dax fights his way out of the corner, only for Austin to drop him in the ankle, allowing the heels to gain control. Billy then takes a cheap shot, but Dax fights back by sending everyone out to the ring and then drops Colton inside. He looks for a tag, but his opponents pull his partner from the apron, stopping the potential tag. Caster then launches Dax into the turnbuckle and he looks for a pinfall, but Harwood kicks out. Heels keep making frequent tags, but Dax plants Caster with the German suplex, which followed by the double clothesline. Caster is up first and he looks for a sharpshooter, which gets a major reaction from the crowd that they are not happy about that. But he fights out of it only for Austin to come in, but yet Harwood tags out to Punk. He slips off the top rope. Despite that, he begins attacking most members of the Club and follows up with a roundhouse kick to Caster. He nails Austin with a knee, and then he heads to the top rope and connects with a huge elbow drop. Billy stands up on the apron, looks to get into the ring, but he does a DX. He does the suck it instead, which allows Austin to go for the roll-up 1-2 kick out. Punk then hits a powerbomb to Austin, which sends him into Billy Gunn, which that looked like it didn't go as clean as it was supposed to. Hits the GTS after he tags in one member FTR. They hit the big rig 1, 2, 3. CM Punk and FTR pick up the win. After the match, Punk says he's never been on drugs before, but he guesses this is what it feels like. He says he knows he needs to get better, and that is what this title is about. His road is to be here. It's littered with mistakes, and he will keep learning from them. And people can say positive and negative things, but they have to call him champ. Harwood then says, "The things Punk haven't done, I have, and this is what it feels like." He puts over his wife and daughter who are in the crowd. He says they're only things that mean more to him than wrestling. He says you can attack him in cash, but it didn't set well. So he wants to say if you're from a different company or the same company, sorry Finley, bring your ass out here and he will kick it. I don't know why I'm bringing up David Finley, but okay. Punk says that leads us to New Japan Professional Wrestling, which I've never heard anyone say professional when they say NJPW's full name. It's for some of the best wrestlers in the world, and he knows that the Forbidden Door is back there. He wants to know who he's got. The music plays, and it's Hiroshi Tanahashi who comes out. CM Punk holds up the championship. Tanahashi does the discount double check, saying he wants the championship. It looks like we're getting Hiroshi Tanahashi versus CM Punk at Forbidden Door. They did not confirm this yet. Like Excalibur, not Tony Khan on social. We have not had this confirmed, but it looks like we're getting Hiroshi Tanahashi versus CM Punk. Kind of surprised on that one. I'm glad it's not Okada versus CM Punk, because who the fuck are you gonna have win that match? Tanahashi, CM Punk should be a hell of a thing. But yeah, good match overall. Obviously, Tony Khan is gearing up for that Trios Championship tournament, which is going to happen very, very soon. CM Punk posted the picture from someone from after the show was over with, where he was celebrating with the FTO, and he's like, "Just give us the straps so we don't have to hurt your favorites." So it's very interesting, though, is the fact that CM Punk sat on commentary a month ago, when I believe Dax was in the middle of the ring, or when these guys were in the Owen Hart Cup qualifier, and they had these two going back in a match. Dax and Cash were in a match together. CM Punk on commentary said he did not like these guys, and now here he is being all buddy and friends with them. I know they've bonded over their love for Bret Hart, because they are the Bret Hart Appreciation Society, as people have been calling them on social. But yeah. Moving on here, we have MJF. He gets in here, he gets to the ring. He says he's in a lot of pain right now after Sunday, but all you people want to do is hear him talk. He said it'd be a real shame. He points to the back to the boss. He says, "A lot of big executives back here tonight, boss. Be a real shame if something happens to you tonight." And there's a lot and says Tony Khan has been waiting to sit down with him for a while, but it's too little too late. Says everyone he's handing a ticket at the start when this company got started, but he had to write his own. You're here because Cody Rhodes was your friend. Come on. He created moment after moment for this company, but still gets no respect, and MJF claims nobody is on his level, as there's nothing he cannot do. MJF is expected to hit the Grand Slams because then he does every single time. He has to be perfect while everyone else gets to do what they can be great. He has to be perfect. He's always held under a microscope as the only guy capable of carrying the company. He says it is interesting that he hears clapping. Where were you this weekend when you called him an unprofessional piece of shit? He tells the guys in the back they can have a spot because he doesn't want to be here anymore. He tells the fans they are uneducated mugs who sit and tweet at their opinions. He tells the fans they don't know shit and their opinions suck and change at the drop of a dime. He says people claim they always know I always knew he was a great wrestler, but that wasn't what they originally said. It's because he doesn't pretend to watch New Japan or chase after star ratings. He's the best because he makes you feel. And unlike the rest of these guys in the back, I don't have to do no fucking bullshit to get you there. And no lies detected. See him, like, MJF has been in some of the biggest programs in AEW history. Biggest, and he says it isn't just the fans who take him for granted, it's the big men in the back as well. He asks, who's the second minute-to-minute Raw rating draw in the company? You wish, as they said, something like somebody said. And he said, it's me. And they should ask Statboy Tony, but don't ask him to pay the man who's been busting his ass for him so he can hoard all that money to give it to all the ex-WWE guys. He said WWE, who can't lace his boots. He says, ask Tony if he would be treated better if he was an ex-WWE guy. He says the only position Tony should have is behind the guardrail. He doesn't want to wait until 2024. He tells Tony to fire him. And somebody off to the side says something to him and tells him to shut the fuck up, you goddamn motherfucking Mark. And the microphone cuts out and the entire stream cuts out as well. I loved every second of this. I could not do this thing justice. MJF is a mad genius. Tony Khan is a mad genius. Anybody thinking that this was just a big old shoot. He's shooting from the hips. I don't know where this is going to go, but this has to lead to MJF becoming world champion. That's the only way I see this going anyways. This has to be leading to MJF becoming the AEW World Heavyweight Champion when it's all said and done. Johnny Elite comes out. He signed an open contract, like I said, to face anybody on the AEW roster. Miro appears on the screen and says he is to redeem everybody and the good deeds will bring him back to the kingdom of heaven. His neck of sand is fixed, but now his heart is broken. He doesn't wish to come home to his God. He wants to take his. So, Miro is the man to take on Johnny Elite. So, it's great to see Miro back. The last time we saw Miro was at Full Gear, being a substitute for Jon Moxley, as it was not supposed to be Miro. If it wasn't for Jon Moxley going to rehab, we probably wouldn't have seen Miro back at Full Gear. But it was great to see him back for the first time in many months. And he has a match here with Johnny Elite. They have a pretty good match here. But in the end, what else is it? Johnny Elite gets beat out with the game over. And Miro wins, no problem. After we go to commercial break, we come back to JAS come out. And everyone's singing to Judas, and Jericho says, okay, that's enough, cut it off. Angelo Parker says, JAS dominated the Anarchy in the arena, so the AEW Galaxy should appreciate them. Danny Magic then adds that people will know that they are the princes of pain because nobody does it better. Jericho says, what the fans deserve is winners of the match Sunday, which is them, because they don't deserve to sing his song. Because winning the match wasn't without a price, as he lists some of the injuries and then points out that Kingston tried to set him on fire and points out, what kind of man lights another man on fire? Commentaries like, the Chris Jericho kind of man. He points out that sports entertainers face pro wrestlers. Sports entertainers always win. Eddie Kingston then appears along with Mr. Lord William Regal, and he says he will fight them all right now, and then tells Mr. Regal, let them know where he wants to fight. We've been waiting for it. It's not as good as War Games, but Regal does say blood and guts. Jericho says, you ain't getting blood and guts. And Kingston, who was leaving with William Regal, he comes back to fight everybody. Everyone. Now, Daniel Garcia wasn't in this group, here and all, because he was in the back, getting ready, psyched up, and everything for his main event. So was everyone else. So Parker, Menard, and Hager go out and attack Eddie Kingston, while Jericho is just waiting in the ring. When behind him, Ortiz has a nice little sock slap jacket, and he just smacks him in the fucking face. Pulls out a pair of scissors, cuts off a piece of Jericho's hair, gets that souvenir, and exits the ring as everyone else comes back in. And Jericho's pissed. He's pissed because you mess with his hair. His hair is more than anyone else, anything that Ortiz or Santana can have. And he says, you want blood and guts? You got it. However, For Blood and Guts, Chris Jericho wants a one-on-one match against Ortiz. But not just any one-on-one match. Hair versus hair. We find out later this is going to be happening at Road Rager in 2 weeks. And that is, he will beat him, he will shave him, he will burn him because he's a wizard. So, hair versus hair in 2 weeks, Blood and Guts at the end of the month after Forbidden Door. So, I think this means that the entire JAS, the entire Blackpool Combat Club, and Kingston and LAX are going to be missing out on Forbidden Door. I could be totally wrong, but you having these guys build up to Blood and Guts, why would you have them at Forbidden Door? This will be very interesting to see what they do. Get a video shown backstage of Samoa Joe getting attacked by after Double or Nothing by Jay Lethal and his group. Road Rager is going to be on the 15th. We're going to need a couple of matches here. We got one already with the hair versus hair match. I expect Samoa Joe versus Jay Lethal to finally happen at Road Rager. Red Dragon, Hikuleo, and the Young Bucks versus Jurassic Express, Christian Cage, Darby Allin, and Matt Hardy. 6-person tag, a 10-man tag match just getting all over the place. Left and right. I can't keep this up. Jungle Boy gets caught with his own as Matt is dropped again with the high-low. After he tries to get involved, the Bucks hit the Meltzer driver on him, the pin and win. The Undisputed Elite and Hikuleo pick up the win. After the match, Matt Hardy gives Jungle Boy a hug, but Christian Cage comes back in, pushes him away, and hugs him a bit, and Matt Hardy's like, what the fuck? So we get a promo backstage of Swerve Strickland and Keith Lee with a couple of friends of Swerve. He says whether it's tag team gold came before, and it would once again, they can swerve and you can swerve in their glory. They're just, I don't know what's next for these guys. They could go singles gold, tag gold, whichever. Tony Schiavone then welcomes Athena to the Wednesday night for the first time. She says Athena's all elite, and it's not surprised why she's here. The top competition, she says all the streaks are made to be broken. She's the one to break Jade. So she can say this or that, but she's the fallen goddess. But of course, what Cargill says, Tony, cut the shit. Like, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is cut the shit? It's not a good catchphrase. It sucks. It's stupid. She appears with her baddies and Stokely Hathaway. He says it's a shame. And as her purposes, he's letting everyone know Jane is the queen and a goddess. He knows Athena wants a title shot, but not today. Kiera Hogan gets in her face. Here comes Anna Jay and Chris Statlander. They appear to level the odds. Stokely Hathaway wants it all broken up. Get security out there. Athena will be taking on Kiera Hogan on Friday night. So there's that. Wardlow versus JD Drake. Wardlow actually walks to the ring with no security, obviously. No handcuffs, but no music until he gets in front of the crowd. They play his music. He gets a match against JD Drake. JD Drake gets a little bit of offense in until Wardlow decides, you know what, I'm done with this guy. Hits a powerbomb. Hits a second one. And that is that. After the match, Tony Schiavone wants to talk to Wardlow about being all elite. And Mark Stone's like, oh, no, not yet. No, we ain't gonna be that easy. So he has a security guard take him a piece of an envelope. And inside of it were papers to serve to Wardlow so he could see him in court in litigation for beating up all the security over the last few weeks and months. Beats up the security member, powerbombs him, rips up the thing, and that was that. So, Wardlow, obviously Wardlow should, by the time All Out comes around, I could see Wardlow beating Scorpio Sky and becoming the TNT champion. But until then, Wardlow's just going to be Wardlow, beating people up left and right. But by the end of this year, if Wardlow does not have gold over his shoulder or around his waist, you're doing something wrong, Tony. Tony Storm and Ruby Soho versus Jamie Hayter and the Faker. I really didn't give a shit about this match. Tony Storm and Ruby Soho win with the, what they call the Blade Runner onto the Faker. She won the Owen Hart Cup, the women's side, the Owen Hart belt, only to lose her next match. After the match, Hayter uses the title to knock down both Ruby and Tony, leaving them laying at the end of the night. What can you do? Daniel Garcia versus John Moxley, the two-men lockup. Daniel Garcia takes takes John Moxley into the corner and grinds on his face, which at the beginning of this match when Moxley was coming out, I don't know if William Regal, who was on commentary as well as just Chris Jericho, but I swear he took a hit of something strong because he was just on It sounded like he was on acid or something. He was just all over the place on commentary. So, these two beat the shit out of each other. Moxley gets... Let's see here. Moxley turns things around again and then locks in a cross armbreaker. Garcia reverses that into a submission of his own. Moxley gets the ropes on, connects with a German suplex, but he then eats one from Garcia, who follows up with a power driver, which is a near fall. We did make it to past 10 o'clock. This is the first time we've had an overrun without needing an overrun. Because Tony Khan put on social, oh, thank you, TBS, for giving us an overrun. Garcia then locks in the sharpshooter, but he responds with a choke. Garcia counters with a pinfall attempt. The two then go back and forth with huge strikes until both men spill out into the ring. Then brawl over the timekeeper's table. Jericho then heads down to the ring and tries to distract John, but Eddie Kingston comes down to level things. And Moxley nails the Death Rider, then hits the Bulldog choke for the tap out and the win. So Moxley beats Daniel Garcia after the match. Kingston slides in a microphone. Moxley says, "You want blood and guts? Counts me in. You got blood and guts." So far, it's the JAS, Eddie Kingston, Ortiz, and John Moxley, and I'm sure Santana too. They could, because the Best of the Super Juniors is over, and I'm sure Dominion will be over here in a minute too. By the time Blood and Guts come around, they don't have to have Bryan Danielson in the Blood and Guts. You could have Wheeler Yuta. Because you have Kingston and Danielson who do not like each other. Putting Wheeler Yuta in instead of Danielson would probably be a good thing, and it would be a great learning experience for one Wheeler Yuta. Overall, pretty damn good show tonight. Hiroshi Tanahashi and CM Punk, that is probably going to be the main event unless Okada comes in and has a match against somebody from AEW and puts his title on the line if he's still champion by that time, because he's taking on Jay White at Dominion here in a few weeks. I think a week or a couple days, actually. So, yeah, a lot going on. Cannot wait to see what happens with the Forbidden Door. This was a damn good show. This is, great. Because we have Forbidden Door coming up in June, this month, AEW doesn't have that lull period right now. I'm not saying I want to see a pay-per-view every month from AEW. But, we're not getting that lull period right now. But July might be a little bit of a lull because because Forbidden Door will be over, and we'll be heading into right before All Out. Overall, really good show. Can't wait to see what's happening on Rampage on Friday. It is live as well. They're going to be still in California, of course. But that is all for this review. Again, very good show outside of the women's match, which I really couldn't care. And any match the Faker's in is an absolute waste of time. But hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Minds at the France Club. Find me on twitch.tv/The France Club. And find me on Instagram at The France Club. And I'll see you guys on Friday for SmackDown and Rampage. Until then, my name is The France, and I'll see you guys later.